Good morning. I'm here for our next session of Postsecondary 101. Today we're going to be talking about scholarships. With the scholarships, we have Kelsey King from EICC, Kathleen Badeo from Quad City Community Foundation. Kathleen, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Badija.
Badija. And Beth Marsoon and Ellie Curtis from the PV School District. So we're all going to be talking about scholarships, our in-house scholarships, the Scott Community College scholarships, and of course the foundation scholarships, and then just general information. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Kelsey.
Great, thanks, Mary. So a session we did this past fall was over financial aid, and in that we talked about the various college costs. And so you'll see those, if you want to go back to the previous slide there, Mary, there we go. You'll see the costs that financial aid can go towards, but scholarships can also go towards covering these expenses as well. So it's equally as important to apply for scholarships too. The next page we'll talk, or the next slide here, we'll talk about the scholarship search process. So if you want to go to the next one there, Mary. All right, so when we're looking for scholarships, you never want to pay. There are a ton of free resources out there for students, and it's really worth the time investment that you spend. I always tell students, if you're going to spend an hour applying for a $500 scholarship and you get it, you just made $500 an hour. So it's definitely worth the return on your time to apply for any and all scholarships that are out there, regardless of what the amount is. If it's a smaller amount, they all add up. So apply for any and all scholarships out there. It's definitely worth that time. Another thing that I hear a lot from students is that scholarships are just for the smart students, and that is not the case. While some scholarships will be based on a certain GPA criteria, there are scholarships out there for students just by going to a certain school or college or enrolling in a certain program. So they are not all based on GPA. They are not just for the smart students. They are for everyone. It's also important to use your resources. So reach out to your counselors, teachers, even your parents' employers may have scholarship opportunities, as well as community organization and businesses like your Rotaries, your credit unions. They can all offer scholarships as well. And then whichever college or university you are attending, they will have their own internal foundation scholarships that they award to students too. So definitely check with your admissions rep or your college university's website for their specific scholarship details there. I always tell students, give yourself the gift of time, apply early, make sure you're not going to be missing any deadlines. And it's also important that you give your references plenty of time as well to submit the letter of recommendations or just to provide a really thoughtful reference for you for those. So they are going to need time to get those done as well. They have a lot of students reaching out to them for those types of things. So just give them time to get those done, start that process early. You'll also need to start early because you may need to gather some information like your GPA, class rank. You may need to start drafting an essay for a goal statement that they may ask for, and really just start that process early. I talked about this before, get letters of recommendations from your references, give them plenty of time because those often have to be submitted by that deadline as well. Not just your information submitted, but references need to meet the deadline too. So plenty of time for that. You'll find not only are there scholarship deadlines, but some colleges and universities will also have a registration deadline. So you need to be registered in your classes by a certain date to receive a scholarship as well. So just keep an eye out for and watch closely on what those various deadlines are going to be. And then read carefully. Don't be afraid to reach out to that college or employer or school for any questions you may have about the scholarships or their process. So most scholarships are going to ask for some kind of essay or goal statement. We encourage students to write multiple drafts, not only for the proofreading process, but you can kind of tweak and tailor which essay or goal statement depending on the different scholarship that you are applying for. So you don't have to start from scratch every single time. You may be able to reuse that for multiple scholarships. Proofreading is important, and have someone review that essay or goal statement. So finding someone that's going to be honest and give you some great feedback on that. Also start to ask yourself some questions. What are your strengths? What makes you unique? What are your goals? Those are oftentimes going to be asked in scholarships, so just be prepared and start thinking of what types of answers you could put for those things. So you're going to want to match your goal statement or essay to the scholarship purpose. So for example, if you're applying for a nursing scholarship, maybe you need to tie in why you'd be a great nurse. So really make that specific to the kind of scholarship that you may be applying for. Obviously, complete the entire application. Make sure you're not leaving any information out. You want to complete that in its entirety. And then also we encourage students not to provide more than what is asked. So if the scholarship is asking for just a paragraph, don't think you're going to be going above and beyond and be really impressive by submitting a whole page. These businesses and colleges receive hundreds and hundreds of applications, and it is timely to go through all of them. So really just make sure you're submitting what they are asking for. One of the scholarships specific to Iowa is the Iowa Last Dollar Scholarship. And this is available at all of the 15 Iowa community colleges. It's going to cover your tuition during your time in the career programs. There's over 20 different career programs that are eligible for this. And the goal of the Last Dollar Scholarship is just to increase the number of Iowans going into high demand jobs throughout Iowa. And so this is just an incentive to get students to go into those programs and have your tuition covered. So the link there will take you to our website that will show you what those eligible programs are. It ranges anywhere from healthcare, business, IT, manufacturing, transportation. So there's lots of programs available for you to do. The only requirement is to do the FAFSA application. So you will need to complete that and enroll full-time after high school. It is important to note that this is not income-based, so it is open to all students. You do have to complete your FAFSA because anything you would receive from grants would be applied first, and then the last dollar would come in and pick up anything that's remaining. If you're not grant eligible, then the last dollar would just come in and pick up the tuition there. So that is why you do have to complete the FAFSA. It is for adult students as well. Adult students can go part-time, but for high school students, you do have to enroll full-time right after high school. You can't take a semester off or anything like that.
Kelsey, I'm going to quick go to both of those websites so we can take a look at those.
Of course, great.
And so then they can see on the screen the Last Dollar Scholarship, iowacollegeaid.gov/last dollar. And this has all of the community colleges on there. And then let's go back to the presentation, maybe. There we go. And then specific for EICC, they have all of their programs and that same information that Kelsey gave. Okay. There you go, Kelsey.
Thank you. All right, so then for our high school students who have taken the Scott Community College classes during your time in high school, you may be eligible for this Connection Scholarship. This is specific for students who are coming to Scott after high school. This deadline is March 1st, and you just I'll click the link there and it takes you right to the super easy application. It's just going to ask for your basic contact information, which high school you went to, in your email. So it's a really easy application. There's 3 levels to it depending on how many of the college classes you earned while you were in high school and what your GPA was in those. So yeah, Mary's pulled up the application there. You can see it's really easy. There's no essay or reference for those at all. So it takes 2 minutes to fill this out, and highly encourage all students who have taken concurrent classes to fill this out by the March 1st deadline. But you'll see here the 3 levels. So it's anywhere from a half off tuition scholarship your first year, Level 2 is 2 free classes your first year, and then level 3 is 1 free class your first semester. And you can see the criteria as far as the GPA and credit hours needed for each of those levels. If you're not sure which level you are eligible for, that's okay. We'll figure that out for you and can kind of let you know estimated kind of which level you will be receiving. But it is off of your EICC GPA, so it's not your high school GPA, it's the GPA you had in those college classes you took. And then I just wanted to mention quickly here our foundation scholarships. Again, this is if you are coming to Scott. Our deadline is March 1st. You just click the link there to fill out our application. You fill out one scholarship application and you're considered for all the scholarships that we have. We don't make you apply over and over again individually for each one, which is a great time saver for students. We just ask for a goal statement and then 2 references. And then on our website too, we also link students to some external scholarship opportunities as well. There may be some additional questions you would answer for those other scholarship opportunities we have.
Terrific. And so, Kelsey, thank you so much. And now we're going to go to Kathleen, who's going to talk about the Quad Cities Community Foundation scholarships.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mary. Thanks for having me here. Really excited to talk about the Community Foundation and our scholarships. I can remember my time of just being a graduating high school senior looking for, lots of opportunities. So Kelsey has definitely shared a wealth of resources, and I'm happy to add our Community Foundation scholarships to the mix. Our foundation, just quickly brief history about us. Our mission is to transform the region through the generosity of donors. And so we do that by serving a variety of different folks in our community. So that could be donors who want to make a difference in the community, nonprofits, and supporting their mission, and then students and supporting them with their educational goals. So we really hope to work with a variety of different organizations to solve issues that not one person can solve, and really enjoy being a partner and addressing various community issues that affect us here in the Quad Cities. And so last year, our foundation awarded more than $500,000 in scholarship dollars to students. That included $367,000 in new one-time and renewable scholarship awarded to 43 Quad City students. And then we had 6 students receive multiple awards. And so this year we have 75 scholarships totaling more than $500,000. They range from $500 to $11,000, a variety of one-time and renewable awards. And then I will say we do have lower than usual numbers this year. So I do just encourage anybody watching that the opportunity is great. Our deadline is February 15th. And as far as our process, students fill out a common application asking for some just general contact information. And then we ask for an essay, a recommendation letter, and your transcript. And so that can all be done using our online application. And then essentially it'll tell you which scholarships you're eligible after submitting that application. Some of our opportunities do ask for some additional information, might ask an extra question or something like that, while others won't ask for any additional information. And so you can just quickly then submit and be done with that. And on the right-hand side there, just look at some important dates. So reminding again that the deadline is February 15th. And then our committee meets between April to May in April to make those decisions. And then you would find out by May or so. And then we're hosting a reception. It'll be online, right? We're all living in a virtual world, but we are going to be hosting a virtual reception in May and looking forward to inviting our recipients, donors, and committee members as well. So feel free to head to our website, qccommunityfoundation.org. And as Mary is probably going to it, in the top bar, there's a for students section. So you can click that and click apply for scholarship. So you can probably navigate there. There you go. And yeah, that top bar, there's going to be a pop-up there. Yep, and then scholarships available. So on this website, you can view all of our scholarship offerings, and you can view them. We have them separated by state, by student status, by skills trade. So you're able to do that and kind of just look through those offerings and kind of get a feeling of which scholarships you might be eligible for. But then that orange apply now button is what you'll click. There'll be some more information about how to use the online system. And then you'll finally click another apply now button, and that will take you to our online system where you can create an account and then begin your application. That is all for us.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And next up is Beth.
Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Marsoon. I am with Pleasant Valley Schools and the Pleasant Valley Educational Foundation. I echo essentially everything that's been said already. Apply now and apply early and apply often. Our numbers are down as well. So there is a lot of opportunity for our students to earn a $1,000 scholarship. We have 113 scholarships available this year. Almost all of them are $1,000 scholarship. A couple are a little bit less and a couple are a little bit more. And we have kind of the same process that we only give one scholarship per student. So we spread that money around. And so we need a lot of people to apply. And as I said, our numbers are down a little bit. So the opportunity for you to win an easy $1,000 is really great. You can get to our application and our scholarships through the Pleasant Valley website. And we also have ours broken out by our different categories of scholarships that we have. And I will say, our scholarships are extremely wide ranging. While there are scholarships for those smarty kids who have the highest GPA in the class, I would say a majority of our scholarships are not for that type of student. Yes, they're there, but they're for students who are good kids who work hard and who have frankly, a special niche of what they want to go into or the kind of student that they are. So take 10 minutes to walk through everything that we have to offer, because I guarantee there is a scholarship that fits you or your student. So our application process is really easy as well. We've got information here on this first page, kind of towards the bottom, of how to apply. But once you're ready to apply, yeah, you can click on that, Mary. Once you're ready to apply, it is super easy. We allow it. I think it takes about 10 minutes to do each scholarship, and man, $1,000 for 10 minutes isn't too bad. So we also encourage you to apply for as many as you can, because we only give it to one student per scholarship. That one person might have applied for 10 scholarships. So once we put them in the category for, the Bridgeview Elementary Scholarship, they're no longer eligible for the other scholarships. And so your chances of being awarded a scholarship is great. We also have a night in May. We're not exactly sure how we're going to handle that yet, depending on what our situation is. But it is a really nice night that honors our students and our donors, and lets our students connect with those donors and make lifelong relationships. I found in this position how many of our scholarship recipients and scholarship donors end up forging that lifelong relationship of support, and it is really really fantastic. So I encourage you to go through our website and take a look at those applications that might be of interest to you, and apply for as many as you can. They're due February 17th.
Terrific. Thanks, Beth. And now Ellie Curtis is going to talk about our scholarships. Ellie is our scholarship whiz. She's the know-all of all of our scholarships that come into the school. Is that right, Ellie?
Yes, I would say so. Thank you, Mary. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is how to access other scholarships, besides the wonderful opportunities that students have with Scott Community College and the Community Foundation. So there's a couple other places where students can find scholarships, and so that's what I'm going to outline today. So I'm going to share my screen.
And I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can share yours, Ellie.
Perfect. Okay. Back up for a second here. Okay, so this is a program named Zello. This is basically our new and improved career cruising platform. And so I post scholarships that are kind of coming from the miscellaneous category. So they're not foundation scholarships, you know, PV Foundation, they're not the Community Foundation scholarships, they're not college specific. These are the scholarships that are kind of marketed towards us as a school, and then we post this information for students to find easily in one spot. So for your student to access Zello, all they need to do, oh, looks like I need to put in my password again real quick. Oh no. Technical difficulties, sorry about that. I'm sorry, one moment. Let me look into this. Okay, so now I'm going to view as student. So this is what your student would see. And there are instructions on how to navigate this and find this platform in the Google Classroom that I'll share in a second. So to find these scholarships, all your student needs to do is click on the college planning link right there. And then if your student has applied through any colleges through Common App, they should be pretty familiar with the Zello platform because they would use this link for that. But right here, they can click view my local scholarships. And right now it looks like, there you go. So this is the list of all of the different scholarships that I've posted where different organizations have reached out to market their scholarships. They are very wide ranging. And so I just encourage students to go on here and kind of read the descriptions. Otherwise, they can search for a keyword and that will pull up that scholarship that way. So this is Zello, and you know, more and more scholarships. I probably add 1 or 2 a week. So just encourage your students to keep checking for those. The next thing I want to show you is the scholarships Google Classroom. So all seniors at Pleasant Valley High School were invited to this Google Classroom. If they need help joining it, please encourage them to email me or come to the counseling office and we can show them where that is. So what I have listed here is just general scholarship application tips. These are good to review before students apply, just so they know that they're doing it correctly. And right here, I just have kind of a separate category for PV Foundation scholarships, so they can read about the process and then also apply through a link on there. I also have posted here some national scholarship databases that students can look at for these. And then this tab has the local and regional scholarships. So this is going to have information from the Iowa College Access Network, the QC Community Foundation scholarships, which Kathleen just talked about, and also what Kelsey just talked about, the Future Ready Iowa Last Dollar Scholarship. This is the instructions on how to find or to access Zello and to find the scholarships on there. And then this outlines different Iowa-specific scholarships that students can apply to. And then lastly, I have all of the Regents universities and EICC listed down here with their special scholarships that students can browse. I feel like this scholarship Google Classroom, if your student is confused on how to get started, I feel like this is a great way to start. If they ever have any questions, I'm happy to help. And I think that's all from me. Thank you, Mary.
And Ellie, one of the questions that I know, when do they start looking? Because we'll have freshmen through seniors that will watch this and their families. When should they be getting these invites for the Google Classroom or start looking at those scholarships?
Yep, good question, Mary. So this was the first year that I made the Google Classroom. I thought this was a good format since our students have gotten very familiar with Google Classroom in the past year or so. So typically in the future, I plan to invite students maybe on like the second week of school. You know, that way they can browse this kind of when it's like a slower time during the school year and really get started on that. But as far as applying, their scholarships due any time between October, April, May, June. So if you really want to get started right away, I would say October is a time to really start looking.
Perfect.
It's October of senior year, I'm sorry.
And then do you want to go ahead and stop sharing, and I'll go ahead and I'll share the screen again. Perfect. And then I'll go back. We have a couple more things that we can highlight. And you talked about the Zello. Do you want to just mention, because a lot of the students, especially the freshmen through juniors, won't know what Zello is. So you want to I know you said that it's replacing career cruising, but maybe just a little bit more about that.
Yeah, with everything with COVID, you know, this was supposed to roll out earlier than it actually is going to. But freshmen, sophomores, juniors, you will get very familiar with Zello, especially next year when we implement our college and career readiness course. That is a new graduation requirement. So just like you are familiar with career cruising, with the, I forget what they call it, but the matchmaker tool, you know, researching colleges, researching scholarships, majors, and careers. This program provides all of those same capabilities. And it's really slick, which is why I thought it was a great platform to host our local scholarships. And then also Zello, if you're a senior, Zello connects to Common App now. And so that's a pretty slick process that our seniors have learned a lot about this year. We look forward to rolling this out to more students so they can see how helpful this program is.
Great. And I think the counselors have learned a lot about Common App and Zello now too this year, right?
Yep.
All right. So then just a quick recap. Kelsey, do you want to go back to that? And then all of us can give those last final thoughts. So while Kelsey's talking, if you want to think about maybe what are some barriers that maybe we should address, or one last thought for the viewers. Kelsey?
Great. So again, just for the quick recap, scholarships are for all students, not just smart ones or ones with high GPAs. Involve everyone with your family, counselors, teachers, they're all there to help you. So use those resources. Make sure you're giving your references plenty of time to submit their letters of recommendation, so it's thoughtful and that they can get them back by the deadline. Again, carefully review all of the criteria so you're not missing deadlines. Start early. Apply for all scholarships regardless of the amount. They do add up, and apply from various areas, whether they're community scholarships, scholarships from the college, or area businesses. Don't provide more than what they're asking for in the application, and then ask questions if you have any.
Perfect. And then here's some scholarship links. We have the connections, the SEC Foundation scholarships, the last dollar, some external scholarships, a couple of favorite search engines. So if there's other scholarships you may be looking for, because we can't keep them all up there that are national, you can go to fastweb.com and capex.com. You fill out a form, it'll ask some questions. If you're a first gen student, if you have a certain religion, major, interest, and then they're going to pull all that together and start sending you scholarships. So that's kind of a nice way to have them do the work for you. And then Peterson's and the Quad City Community Foundation scholarships. And then of course, as I think several mentioned, the colleges all have their own. So make sure you're going to their websites and look for the scholarships on that side. So with that, I'm going to start with Ellie, and what's your one final thought?
Apply, apply, apply. Especially right now. I mean, I think it's a, consistent thing that we're seeing that our numbers are lower. So please apply. I promise you that the time will be worth it that you spend applying for scholarships.
And Kathleen?
Yeah, I echo everything that's been said. And what comes to mind is, the only way to absolutely not get a scholarship is not applying. So, throw your name in the hat. There's a wide variety of scholarships that I think all of us have talked about and mentioned. So yeah, and just don't wait to the very last minute. Our scholarship deadline is 11:59 p.m. at February 15th. So if you email me at 11 p.m., I most likely will be sleeping, but I am happy to help you earlier in the day if you kind of experience any issues. So really wanting to be a resource and help out if you do run into any issues, but my encouragement to not wait to the very, very last minute and apply when you can.
Beth?
I really can't say any more. It is about applying, and you're essentially getting free money for a little bit of your time. So do it now.
And Kelsey?
Just echo what everybody else said. Apply now, don't wait.
And I think the last thing that I'd like to leave everybody with is that this has been the era of virtual and undecided, and everything is up in the air. So even though you may not know what college you're wanting to go to, don't let that stop you. It's not committing you to apply. When you apply for a scholarship, you're not signing on the dotted line and having to go to that college. It just gives you those financial opportunities. So don't hesitate because you don't know for sure where you're going. Apply, as everybody else said. So with that, thank you so much for watching the video, and have a great day.